This podcast shines light on strong and talented women who excel and persevere in life while bathing in abundant self love. So, if you're ready to keep it real, level up in all your inner work, creative business, and community impact, then you've come to the right place because we provide you with content that helps your soul glow and your mind grow. Thank you for pressing play. Let's dive in.
Hey, STUK family. I am back with another solo episode. It's been a minute and I'm glad to be back. So I hope you're doing well. I am just chilling right now. I have like a bunch of candles lit around me. And yeah, the vibe just felt right tonight to record a pod. And I've been wanting to record this episode for a while, but it's like if I choose a topic, I just want to fully have moved through it and to be able to like explain to y'all in like the best way possible. So, this episode is about the art of peace. And in these last maybe like I would say about like 2 years, I've been extremely intentional about um maintaining an aura, maintaining a vibe of peace in my life. From obviously starting first with my inner state and my inner self, but then like I don't tolerate, if there is discord or anything that is not peace around me really. And that's changed my life in a really extreme way, especially if you listen back to the past episodes. But yeah, I'm so much more calm. I feel more me than ever. So I wanted to share with you guys some things. And I've been moving through a lot, which is why I haven't necessarily recorded a pod lately, but I think that's okay. And I think that sometimes when you're really intentional about your podcast and what you want to teach people or people to see, like you have to not rush it. And I think that, just as STUK grows, as we as a team grow, I think that this podcast also evolves and grows as we do, as I do. So yeah, I wanted to talk about peace because I think that peace is like a huge, obviously the world needs so much peace right now with, the genocide happening in um, Gaza, in Congo, in Sudan. It's like basically the world has now awakened to the fact that there is mass genocide happening and that the revolution is absolutely now. It was actually before, like it's been now, but a lot of people have been asleep. And I think that's also why I've needed to like pause the pod for a bit because I felt like people weren't evolutionary there, like weren't evolved or awake or aware enough to really hear me. And so I needed to take a break and just, hear myself for a while, because that is self-love. So, and it's so interesting because I I think my app of choice is Twitter or X. I never call it that, but yeah. And so many people have been discussing the idea, the concept of peace and how they've gotten to peace, how they've reached the center or the, space and place of peace. So I wanted to share some words that other women have shared about peace, about their journey to peace, about how they've reached the place and center and the bliss that is peace. Um, and then, I also wanted to discuss how I've arrived here. And it's so interesting because it's like once you obtain peace and you have peace, which is like it's peace is expensive. It's currency, it's gold. And once you've achieved it and kind of like mastered it, and within yourself, you can always come back to that center of peace. But it's so interesting because people then, try to like calculate your peace. They try to because society acts like, the world or external things are more important than the spiritual, than the unseen, when the unseen is really all there is, if you really think about it. Like that's the starting point of any idea, of any manifestation. Like it's your thoughts, it's your imagination, it's your dreams. And to act like the seen world, this external materialistic world, this vapid shallow world, that we live in is all there is, it's just like not accurate. It's not a real perception. And that's why I think I have so much like respect for Palestinians and their way of life, because it's God first, it's spirituality first, it's the unseen first, no matter what. No matter if they're in the rubble, no matter if they're celebrating Eid with like, you know in sorrow, they still give glory and grace to, like, the Most High, to to their faith, to their practice. So anyway, I was on Twitter one day and I saw my friend Ferrari, who is from Oakland. She said that I didn't know being at peace with myself would start a war within others. And I like really felt that, because that's exactly what I went through. And I think that yeah, when you're either on the journey to peace, or even when you've like obtained peace, or like it's kind of like a new state of being for you to be in this like plateau of peace, it's crazy because you never realize what an internal war and battle it can cause within others who do not have peace. Because like I said, people prioritize the worldly things over anything unseen, but then they unconsciously freak out or obsess about the unseen, because they're just like, most people are unconscious and unaware of their own actions and behaviors. So I think that it's like I absolutely experienced that same thing, because, like I didn't know that me being at peace with myself, me loving myself, me finally getting to a place where, despite how like families torn me down, friends have torn me down, like, onlookers torn, soccer's, whatever the fuck it has been, because it's been all of those things, like I still have peace within myself no matter what, you know? And and I think that it's crazy because it really starts a war within others when you have that level of peace, because people try to act like it's nothing, like it's because you can't see peace, you can't touch peace, it's not tangible, it's not quote unquote real. So they act like it's nothing and they try to treat you like dirt when you have it, only just because of like jealousy, because they really don't. And I think that like that's not like, and that's not shade to people who don't have peace, because it is a huge, deep, vast journey. And I mean, it's part of the awakening journey. It's part of the human journey, the spirituality journey. So once you've obtained it, it's like you don't realize how much people you attract. And it's interesting because artists really need peace to be able to focus, to be able to create work. And a lot of times, like what Julia Cameron calls it in the book The Artist's Way, which is like the artist Bible. If you haven't read that, you should read it. But she talks about how people like that are crazy makers. Like once you find, as an artist, or just as a human being, if you're not an artist, maybe you're an art lover, you've, obtained this level of peace, and people want to, like, once you've achieved that, they want to poke at it. They want you to get out of that state, because it is an elevated state of consciousness, if you really think about it. And so yeah, so I saw this other tweet. I'm not really sure who said this one, but it's like, if you want peace, you must prepare for war. And I think that's so interesting, especially within the state of the world, because like when in history has any like, colonized, oppressed people, people in slavery, etc., like when have they, ever obtained peace without war? And I think that that's something that people don't really think about, like to get to a balanced, grounded level of peace takes work. It takes years of practice. And it is so disrespectful, I feel like, to interfere with people, with artists, with human beings who have attained a level of peace. Like, there's no reason to question it because you can't question why someone else has peace and you don't because you don't know anyone else's journey. Like, the only person, that you have uh, somewhat control over in this simulation is yourself. Like you just have to focus on yourself and your growth and your evolution. Otherwise you stagnate. And most people don't know how to do that because they're so concerned with like other people, other people's lawns, other people's yards, like, oh, their grass looks greener than mine. Let me go over here and look over here because that's more interesting than actually cultivating my own garden. Um, so, it's a battle, being able to obtain peace, but it's one that's worth it once you get to the other side. I think it's like kind of the definition maybe of, the light at the end of the tunnel. I think you have to go through a dark tunnel and then, when you actually when you're very serious, like when you've just had it with yourself, with everything that is happening in your life, with how others are treating you, it's like it's something almost, it's like not even a choice, like something forces you to kind of go on, a journey of peace, of like self exploration or whatever. And yeah, it's not pleasant. There are many dark nights of the soul, but like, people who are awake and aware and conscious, like, we like to go on journeys. We like to dig holes. We like to explore. We like to expand. We like to explore ourselves. So even if it's not all the time pretty, it's I don't know. I think there's some beauty in it. I think there's beauty in the darkness, even. And that's just how I see things. And maybe just because I have an open heart, and mind and soul, not to everyone, but definitely to myself, to, the universe, to spiritual things, to animals. um, but yeah, I think that that's just people don't really factor in the connection to like peace and war go hand in hand. You can't really have one without the other, and sadly, because it's just like how humans work, how human nature kind of works. So I saw this other tweet which was, what's the point of peace if you aren't willing to fight for it? And I think that's so interesting because it's like, yeah, like how valuable is peace to you if you ain't gonna fight for it? Like, and I think that you have to be able to fight for your own peace because if you don't, people are always going to step on it, step over you, step to you, try to step like, and you have to be firm and stand your ground and be like, nah, this is me, this is my space. There's peace in my space. Like, I don't want any fucked up energy within my space. And that's just what it is. But it's hard, I think, to be that firm, especially if you're like a conditioned person who like grew up in a household where you're not supposed to do this or you're not supposed to do that, or people are telling you that there's rules and whatever. When this is a simulation, it's a creative simulation. We can do what we can make happen, what we want to make happen, creatively. We can visualize, we can manifest, we can, evolve, we can grow, we can change, we can shift, we can shake, we can move, like we can elevate, we can do all these things. We're such a beautiful, empowered beings of light, but society, Zionism makes us forget these things. So there was another post from I believe I excuse me if I'm not pronouncing her name, but I think her name is Nika Sol. And she said, many assume that if you're peaceful, you must have had an easy life. Like, baby, I went to war for this peace. I drug myself through dark nights of the soul for this peace. I shed every single thing that could go and then some for this peace. There's nothing easy about it. And I think that that is so fucking real because, like, I've had it up to here with like weirdos stalking me, trying to think that I have like some magical existence just because I've done the work to elevate to where I'm at. Like, especially people that don't know you. I think that's so creepy and so fucking weird. Like, why are you obsessed with my life? Like, why don't you want to cultivate your own peace? Like, it's really, really weird. And due to like me obtaining such a level of like peace and self-love, which then attracts outer love, and then it's just like I'm good. I just feel good all around. I feel good most days. I wake up and feel light and beautiful and like I want to, what do I want to create today? What do I want to make today? Like what impact on the world do I want to have today? And people who are at a lower vibration don't necessarily want that for others because they're just unconscious. You know, it's like the epitome of that. I guess I think it's in the Bible. I don't know. That like quote of like they know not what they do. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at like any biblical. I can remember like historical dates for some reason, but I'm horrible with like Bible verses or whatever. Like I can read them, but like I can't obtain the memory of them. I don't know. Maybe it's smoking too much weed. But anyway, yeah, it's just like I think that it's just like it's such it's almost like gaslighting because it's like in the depths of our souls, in the light that is within our souls, if we really close our eyes and go within and really think about it, like we all as human beings, we understand the value and the deep significance of peace because peace is currency, peace equals more money, peace equals more prosperity, like oh, I saw this other quote today. I didn't even write it down, but it just popped up in my head. And it was like about just how you have to be careful about, anyone, any human being that you connect with, because like, if there's no peace, if there's no like peace in the household, if there's no peace in your heart, if there's no peace around, it's just like that's the key. It's the key. It's a major key to everything. And I think we as a society just like belittle it and act like it's kind of nothing when it's everything. And I think that, people have been so attracted to me in my life. Well, I think it's just that Gemini attraction, that Gemini like magnetism, but also because through internal work, through shadow work, through spirituality, through meditation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like I have for a very long time, like since I mean, I started my journey when I was like in college, and I so I have this energy and so I've been like trying stabilizing it for years, and I've just been doing inner work nonstop. And sometimes, I get tired, I have to take breaks, but I'm very intentional about, the value, the currency that is peace and how peace connects to the, you know, productivity of art and the evolution of more art and more joy and more love and more light and all of that. Um, so yeah, like it's been also very I would say it's like almost been like little confirmations, kind of like seeing these posts about people having realizations about like, how real peace is, how, valuable peace is. And in the past episode, I talked about the Afrobeats artist Mobad, who was murdered and because of his message right before the genocide on Gaza started, like he was really promoting, like his single piece. He was thriving. Like he was all about this promotion of this message of peace. But the Zionists, they do not want the message of peace spreading. They don't want the message of peace spreading to any Arabic nations, and they certainly do not want the message of peace, happening in Africa in any way. Like, because this is all connected. I'll link an article below that is Malcolm X view and philosophy on Zionism. But essentially, and a lot of the reason why we as a company have been blocked um and tracked, etc., by Zionists through Instagram, is because of our work in Africa. And they don't want global connection and awareness between nations. They don't want people of color to have more access opportunities, and especially not art opportunities. So it's like, as much as my journey of peace has been really such a struggle, because it's like my life's work has been Stuck Designs, like has been building it up, like, as well as my own art collection. But it's a part of me, it's a part of my journey. And Instagram's like the Zionists on that app basically tore down for like 14 years of work that was stuck. And it's just so interesting because, like, observing like people's reactions, because I literally had no support. Like, everybody was just, they basically tried to act like I was nothing, and that what I did, and for 14 years, uplifting people, elevating collective consciousness, every single day, was nothing. And they like I can't really. I think that maybe there was like one person, like who believed me.
And no, I actually shouldn't say that because I am so grateful for the STUK community, for STUK donors, because you know, even if we don't get to catch up or speak very often, yeah, there were um, a number of people who stayed on board with our mission in those dark times.
But yeah, like, everyone's different. All human beings are different. Geminis are different. My state of peace, I'm sure, is different than Kanye's. But yet and still, if you're just introducing new ideas, if you're introducing new concepts, if you are speaking out and speaking up and taking a stand, I don't know, people tend to feel some type of way. And then if you are doing that all from a very peaceful, calm, centered state of peace, whoo, they feel even some more type of way. And it's just like, I think they try to like calculate it, like, why do you have peace and why do I not? Or how does that, like, how does that over there make you feel at peace? Because that wouldn't make me feel at peace. And it's just so funny because it's like you can't ever like copy or mimic or lurk on someone else's peace, because we each, as human beings, as spiritual beings having a human experience, we have, like, unique frequencies, we have unique vibrations. And no matter how much people like stalk or watch or try to like mimic your energy or copy, it's like they can't, nobody can copy another human being's frequency. Like, nobody can copy another person's ability to have or obtain or stabilize and ground in peace, because that is an individual and unique journey. And that's why, like, even like the idea of competition is just like a matrix based lie, because we are each unique lights, each unique emanations of the most high. Like, we are not, there's no way to even compete or compare, because we are each put here with like our own light, our own path, our own journey. So it's just like so silly, I think, to even think that you can, you know try to step in somebody else's shoes, trying to like mimic anybody else. It just doesn't really work. But yeah, I think that once you get to like, I think in your peace journey, I think you go through life. Like, I don't know, like, because I think it could be totally different for each and every individual. But for me, it was like once I got to that place of like seeing, like, wow, like I really don't have a lot of people around me who even have or understand the concept of peace. And I don't have people around me who really actually understand, like just the ability, or not even, I think they just don't understand love in its essence, in that it's not a tangible thing. It's not something that you can, chase after, compete after, win. It's not like a game like that. It's just like it's a state of being, like peace is. And so I think when you hold that, when you have that, when you've mastered it, especially after hardship, people are very thrown off by it almost, because they're like, well, why does that person have that and I don't. But after a while, I think that if once you spend enough time like alone, and once you spend enough time delving into yourself, once you've kind of mastered the awareness of yourself, and then can really clearly see the people around you and how they move, how they operate, because you really got to watch people, you definitely do. um and sometimes in silence, because that'll give you the clearest perception and perspective. But I think that once you get to that place, or maybe that one like dark night of the soul or whatever it is, you get to this unexplainable peace that passes all understanding. And anyone who has peace, anyone who's just very fucking chill, very like calm, and calmness is a superpower. And that's a stuck illustration. But anytime that you know, I think that you see people who are like that, who have that, who can just like chill no matter what the situation is. It's because they've reached that the peace that passes all understanding, and it is a very real and valid thing. Um, so yeah, I think that it my journey personally was like quite insane, because it's like I had kind of people coming at me from all corners, and then no one also believed me. So that was hard in and of itself, but it also made me stronger, because I know that every test only exists to make me stronger as a person, as a revolutionary, as a speaker, as a leader. But yeah, like I mean, because Instagram is Zionist owned. Mark Zuckerberg is a Zionist. And so yeah, they attacked my page. Like I wasn't in both pages. So yeah, I have a right to be who I am. I have a right to say what the fuck I want to say, and I have a right to lead, and lead with love, and to be who the fuck I am. So, and not only the Zionists, like, first of all, they shut down like kind of like the social media external social media perception of me. They fucked with my numbers, they fucked with my page. When I had my art event, they changed like my main pinned image, which said one love, and it's like a heart with a peace sign inside it. They changed the cover of that for weeks when I had my first drink and draw event. So they still come for me in really weird ways. And like, if you think that this is not happening, you're crazy, because like I think it's a time that we all wake up and are aware that we have lived in a Zionist nation for many years. Like, I understand, and I, in every way, r- resonate, fight for Palestinian rights, speak up for it. But it's important to remember and note that Black people in America have been attacked by Zionists like as long as longer than even Palestinians have been in in their captivity. Um, and so, and they come for us. If you actually look at anything happening, like this has been happening for years. Um, and it's really condescending, and it's just like really fucked up that, like, that people would think, oh, like she's, like this can't be happening to her. And not only did they just not believe me, but then they tried, because of my like numbers dwindling, because my social media presence shifted. Yeah, they knocked me down. They tried to gossip about me, my credibility, throw dirt on my name, etc. Blah blah blah. Um, and and I don't know, it just like when that happened though, I had already obtained such a level of like peace and calm that I was just like able to kind of see the situation from above and be like, yeah, this is really fucked up, but it's not how I feel about myself. And it's certainly not how it's gonna turn out in the end. So I'm just gonna take this lesson and learn it and take it as an experience that I need to like go through to grow, because I'm really obsessed with growth also, and evolution. And um yeah, I think it's beautiful, honestly, even if and when it is painful. I think it's beautiful because like the other side of the pain is just so much more growth and so much more light and lightness of heart. Um and I think that once you have peace, you can always kind of like escape the mental illness loops of others. And especially like within my family or whatever, and within like past friends group or whatever, it was just like a lot of just like chatter and lies and mental illness loops put on me. um for literally no reason, because people are threatened by peace, because people are threatened by self-love, because people are threatened by a black attractive black woman who knows herself, who's educated, who can stand up for herself, who knows what the fuck she's talking about, who has her own businesses. Like, you can't take it, so you got to cut me down. And that's just like has happened throughout history. Me and Tazine talk about this a lot. Like, this has happened throughout history. And we honestly also talked about bringing this to the pod, like the women throughout history who have been, persecuted for speaking out, for standing up for what's right, for, being a woman of color and saying what's on your mind. Because that's the reason people also have an issue with this podcast. It's like they're so sensitive that they can't just listen to freedom of speech, because I mean, freedom of speech is kind of dead in this country, but I do it anyway. And it's just like they have an issue with people expressing freedom, I think. And I think that a lot of people are subconsciously Zionist programmed mentally, and they don't even realize that they're doing it. But for a long time, like since, I don't know, years, decades, I've always known that this time was coming. I knew commercials would program me. I knew I didn't watch, so I stopped watching TV. Like if I see commercials, I look away, turn them off. Like I'm very conscious about what I intake. Like, cause I ain't gonna be Zionist programmed. Like, y'all can, but that ain't gonna be me or my life or my legacy or what I'm putting out here, because that's just evil. And a lot of people don't understand that they're subconsciously practicing evil, because they're just like, they're just unconsciously doing what society is doing and not realizing that American society is a Zionist society. And the rest of the world knows this. The rest of the world's been known this. But like as Americans, I don't even think, like, a lot of people just, in other countries just think we're dumb as Americans, but it's really just because like it's hidden from us. The truth is hidden, like it's like we're in the Truman Show a lot of the time. Um, so yeah, and I think like, I mean, my journey to peace was like also just like one big test after another. Because like it's like when it wasn't one thing, it was another. And I just had to keep, being able to come back to center and groundedness and peace. And, like people tried to literally block my work. People try to like energetically block my work, evil eye on my work, like curses on my work, all this kind of crazy stuff. Jealousy on my work, stalkers on my work. And I don't know why. Like like you should, I don't think nobody should interfere with anyone doing God's work, doing the work of the universe, doing work for the collective consciousness. Like I've never done that. I've never interfered with anybody's work like that. So I wouldn't know the, implications, the karma that that would bring, but because and that's why I don't do it, you know? But so many people tried to block my work, interfere with my life, interfere with what I've built, prey on my downfall, prey and stalk my joy, my light, my legacy to the world, that I'm like giving and presenting. And it's been wild. And I think that people just have an uncomfortability to a Black woman being so secure with who she is and standing on who she is and what she does. And like, because that's the literal opposite of what Zionist society teaches us to be and do. So it's like they don't know where to put me. They try to put me in this box, in that box, whatever. I crawl out of any box you put me in. Don't put me in a motherfucking box. Don't put Stuck in a box either. Don't put Art by Brett in a box either. Like, don't put anything I do in a box. Like, I'm fluid, I'm free, Like we are free human beings, and it's just like society and the external world tries to teach us, wrongfully so, that we are not. It's like we have been free and we will always be free. And I think that that is such a powerful affirmation to say. Especially in times of like oppression, no matter if it's like external colonizing or gentrification oppression, or whether it is like people trying to run up on you and tell you that you can't do this or that you're not free in this fucking simulation and game that is life. Like, we have been free. We will always be free. And I think that that is a very important statement to like know and understand and even say and to repeat to yourself, because it's like they're trying to take away freedoms daily, with weird laws that they're passing, with this and that. And it's just like we need to come to the understanding that we are free human beings. We can move the way we want to move. We can grow the way we want to grow. We can create what the fuck we want to create, because like we came here to end this, to break apart this colonization that has been going on and hidden for so long. In Malcolm X article that I will drop the link below, is he talks about how they presented it as like colonization ended, maybe like in the 40s when some certain African nations were free and India was, given freedom, blah, blah, blah. But then he was like, it's basically all a ruse. Like the colonization never ended. It's still happening under just different, under a guise, of something else. And I think that's what we as a society, we as humanity needs to understand. Colonization is very real. It's still happening. Slavery is very real. It's still happening. Genocide is very real. It's happening everywhere. And it's a fool's thought to think that it's not happening here. Like there's only so long that we can bury our heads in the sand. Like, revolution is now. And self-love is the revolution also, because when you have self-love also that leads to inner peace, and or vice versa, I think. And yeah, it's not an easy journey, but it's definitely worth it. And I think that it's changed my life in ways that I cannot explain. It's made me more present, deeply present, and I can just feel the gratitude in each day in what I'm doing and see the impact in what I'm doing. And I'm not like distracted, by people who are just crazy makers, don't have peace, want to create mess, in my life or this or that. Like I just am very calm and like can see my road ahead very clearly and to see what the next steps are. And not only can I see it, but I can hear my like I think we don't listen to our intuitions enough. I don't think we listen to the voice within our own souls, not within our minds, because the mind is just chatter, the monkey brain, it's just like chatter. But when we can silence the mind and when we can really tap into what is in our soul, what our heart and souls want, and like how we want to move forward in that way, I think that we can really have a beautiful internal dialogue, because a lot of times I'll wake up and be like, and ask my own soul, like, what is my assignment for today? What is my mission for today? Like, please, universe, guide and order my steps. Like, or whatever religion or faith you might have, you can interchange universe with that. But I think it's just faith is just important. It's also an important part of peace. And I think that understanding and having faith in the unseen, and understanding that the unseen is more important than the seen. You can't have the seen if you haven't mastered the unseen, the veil behind it, and you got to go through the shadow work to get to the light. You got to go, sometimes you got to walk through hell to get to that bright and shining light at the end of the tunnel. But I believe in you guys. And I think you can do it. And I don't know, I hope these words inspired you. Yeah, it was sort of a kind of like off the cuff, a little bit ranting and raving kind of podcast episode. But I hope you felt it, because it's real, it's just what I've been going through. And I always find that after like I taken a break and record a podcast, because it is a part of my artistry, that it aligns things for me. So I encourage you, no matter if your artistry is sharing your voice, or painting, or drawing, or sketching to get better at painting, or dancing, or singing, or acting, or whatever it is, do the damn thing. You got to do it, because it's just like, what they're doing right now is they're trying to suppress our voices. They're trying to silence us, trying to silence art, trying to silence self-love, trying to silence unity and community. And I mean, people also belittle art, as it's nothing, but it's vastly and hugely important. It's like any other essential care profession, art is a service to humanity. Just as lawyers or doctors serve humanity, artists serve humanity. And especially during times of revolution or oppression or colonization, it's like artists have always stood up, whether they're poets, bringing a new perspective or light or look on what is happening within the revolution, or whether it's muralists, painting, I don't know, beautiful images of a free maybe Palestine, or just Palestine, like Palestinian rights in general. It's vastly and deeply important. So keep creating, keep sketching, keep writing, no matter what discord, disharmony, um, chatter, chaos, worldly bullshit is happening around you. The most like important thing is that you find your own center. You find the voice that is within your own soul, not your own mind. Silence your mind, hear your soul. And then things become more clear. Like try it, like wake up and be like, hey, whatever your name is, my name is Brett. So you be like, hey Brett, I love you, where are you? I am here. What time is it now? Okay, what is my assignment for today, universe? What do you want me to do? Order my steps. Like, you got to wake up with intention, wake up with like um gratitude, wake up, with the spice of life to move forward. So I guess I'll leave you with some affirmations as I close out. this episode. So I will say that you have so much light. You're full of peace, even when you don't think you are. You are your own center. You have your own, inner intelligence system. You are a being of light. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You literally are the unseen. You are the bright and shining light that is within every star in the galaxy. You are stardust. You are, you can shift, move, change, and evolve in the atmosphere because you are more than just what is externally seen. And you have the power to love yourself every single day, but you have to be intentional about it. And you have the ability to obtain peace if you're intentional about it. But it may take a long time. It may take years and years and years, like it did for me. But everyone's journey is different. So I wish you guys so much peace and so much love on your own personal journeys to peace and to self-love. And until next time, I love you guys. Bye.
Hi everyone, hope you liked that episode. We are all about preaching self-love and empowering women and girls around the world. Support us in our journey as we provide art supplies and many more resources to girls in Ghana through our 2 programs, the Fly Girl Initiative and Little Heartists. We are also working on hosting more Color for a Cause events, as well as our No Filter school tours. Your help will enable this organization to work on bettering the lives of people around the world. For more information, visit our website www.stukdesigns.org.